She was larger than life, even in that petite body, and so stylish and so kind to everybody that she met, the other 49 or 50 participants, just outgoing and just so not, I think, what people would expect when they meet a member of the famed Wolfe family. And she was just so accessible, yes, I would say, yeah, to most people.
So she came through first as a participant.
Yes, she did.
And then quickly became
a role
model.
She quickly, well, you know, even when she was a participant, the program selects people that are emerging and existing leaders. And I think that Rita gave as much to the program as she got back, because she had such a great love and knowledge of the nonprofits and the essence of community trusteeship, which was our philosophy. You take a part of the community and you hold it in trust, and you're a steward of it until it's time to pass it on to the next generation. And she had that in her DNA because of her family. And I think that her special qualities that are so respective to her in terms of her vulnerability, empathy, and sympathy and compassion took everything just a higher level in terms of working with other people.
And so when she came back as a board member as well for Leadership Columbus, you know, she really epitomized what it means to pay it forward.
Absolutely.
How so?
First of all, she was smart as a whip and a problem solver when it came to helping me in terms of, because I was executive director of a board, and so she really helped me strategize a lot of things in terms of dealing with the community and fundraising and dealing with my board and board governance. But she also was a great just ear for me to listen to. We'd have long talks over coffee and lunch, and she just was so willing to give of her expertise. And I could tell that her eyes, though, had been opened up, I think, a little bit, because in the Leadership Columbus experience, they go to homeless shelters and eat in the soup kitchens, and they, you know, visit Mary Haven and go to many, many different places, social service agencies. And so she was able to speak even with greater, I think, empathy and compassion for all of those nonprofits and help me navigate that world.
And you know, she was, we talked about this on the phone, she was this quiet force of nature. She lent her voice, her time, treasure. She donated and funded so many things, but never wanted to be known to be that person.
Absolutely. She was a very, very quiet, behind-the-scenes philanthropist. I think I have a great anecdote, actually, about that she and I were sitting outside Starbucks on 3rd Street one day, and a obviously down-and-out person of a low, you know, of looking for help, was on a big, huge red tricycle with big wheels in the back, and he stopped and said, "Excuse me, I am wanting to start a business with my tricycle. I want to deliver groceries to people and maybe transport them." This was before Uber and everything. And Rita and I were just having coffee, and she said, "Well, let's see if we can help you with that." And at that time, my husband was president and CEO of the Columbus Chamber. So Rita asked me if Ty, my husband, would meet with this gentleman at the chamber to talk about maybe getting a small business loan or something that would help him get his feet off the ground. So I mean, she actually took that interest with literally people on the street and made a connection for them, or tried to make a connection for them that would, and I found out later through people in her office that he actually had a meeting with them at the Dispatch, 34 South 3rd too, at the Dispatch headquarters after this gentleman met with Ty. I'm not sure whatever happened to his business. I think Uber happened, so.
But that was her gift. She made anyone feel like, in that moment talking with Rita Wolfe, they were number one.
There was no one else.
There's no one else
in the room.
Yeah.
You know, when I was thinking about her this morning, you know how they say that Columbus is the heart of it all? I envision our logo today in Ohio with a crack through it, because there's a part of our hearts that are broken, because Rita isn't here today. I mean, she's with us in spirit, and her memory will always be a blessing. And the work that she did will always continue on as part of her family's legacy, but also her brand.
And knowing her for so many decades, family came first for her.
Family came first. She adored her family, talked about them all the time. Her grandmother, her sisters, her nephews, her animals that were just as much a part of her family. She was a cat person before she became a dog person. I remember once going to her home, and she had like condos set up in the lower level, 5 different kennels for the cats, and they all had a name on it, and they were all, I mean, it could have been developed by, like, you know, Pizzuti or something.
And then she did it top,
right? Yeah, the top. Never anything half, yeah.
What will you miss most about Rita?
She was so generous of spirit, and she had a spark. There was almost a part of her that was a rebel in a little bit of a way. I think of Rita, you know, there's a buzzword in the leadership world today that's thought leader. People refer to thought leaders all the time. And I think that Rita was a heart leader. She led from the heart. But I also think as her friend, I'm going to miss her heart that she shared with me and all the trials and travails I've had in the last 25 to 30 years, because she was always willing to listen, not only if it was a professional issue that I was having, but a personal issue. And I was the only person in the world. Let's have lunch, let's have coffee, let's talk about it. And I will miss her sparkle. She had a spark, but she had a sparkle too. Yeah, and she didn't wear it like a badge of honor. She was so unpretentious and so not about what other people thought she was or assumed her to be. She was so much more about her heart and soul, I think.
That was her grace.
It was her grace. It was her grace. And it didn't matter if it was a stray animal or a stray human. She was going to help them. I mean, I think if I saw a spider, she'd want to say, well, let's rescue it and put it in a box and maybe we'll have a good life.
She'd build a spider a home.
She would. She would. She had also, let me just say, I think at Leadership Columbus we had 3 stools of the, 3 legs of the stool, and I would consider them humility, empathy, and vulnerability. And Rita exhibited all of those in spades, but mostly it was empathy. It wasn't just sympathy for other people, but she put herself in other people's shoes. They might not have been stilettos, but she put herself in other people's shoes and really, and that's what forged her connection to do even more. Not just, oh, I'm sorry, let me bring you some soup. It was, let me help you, connect you with this person or that. And I'll just miss how she filled up my heart with joy whenever I would see her. I'll miss that a lot.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. It's an honor to talk about it.
So Dean Moore, when was the first time you met Rita Wolfe?
I think I met Rita Wolfe probably the first time that I recall in 2012, when her dog, at that time, one of her Bernese Mountain dogs, Isley, unfortunately had to come to our clinic on emergency. He had eaten a corn cob and he had to have intestinal surgery, and he was pretty sick, and he ended up being in there for quite a while and had 3 different surgeries. But he came through, probably because Rita was there every day cheering him on, and he lived a nice, happy life after that.
And what did you soon learn about Rita Wolfe as she began to support the College of Veterinary Medicine?
What I noticed about Rita even before that is sort of this radiate positivity, smile that was infectious. One of the most kind, caring, compassionate people I've ever met, even to total strangers. I mean, in some ways, I was a stranger when I first met her. Her immense love for animals of all kinds. You know, she had cats, she had dogs, but she also served as an advocate for us in bringing attention to the Veterinary Medical Center for her friends and colleagues who needed care. And so a lot of people came to us for their specialized or advanced care because of Rita Wolfe.
And talk about how important that is when you have a steward like that that just embraces your mission.
Yeah, I think Rita epitomizes what our mission is and really lives it every day. And you know, she has served on our Philanthropic Engagement Council. She actually very early on after meeting her, she actually provided her services and expertise in marketing that we did for the Veterinary Medical Center. And so she just gave of time, talent, treasure, and most importantly, trust. She, like her family, entrusts us with their pets. Their pets are part of the family, just like most of our that have them. And so it's really that trust that I think she has. It's almost inherent. It's part of who she is, and she has the biggest heart of about anybody I know.
Such a void, I think, that we are all feeling today. But you know, hopefully we won't feel that when it comes to the continued support of someone like Rita. Tough shoes, or I should say, tough paws to fill in the years to come.
Yeah, I don't know that there is another Rita. I mean, she's sort of unique in so many positive ways, and you know, I hope I can carry some of what I've learned from her in terms of just interacting and caring for people in my life, because I've certainly learned from her.
She was very selfless. She gave it all.
Very selfless and cared about every animal, every person, no matter where their background or the walk of life they came from. And if anybody ever had an animal that they knew was in need, they called Rita Wolfe. And she either adopted it, or she found someone to adopt it, or she sent it to us for care.
They were her babies, right?
Absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to add, Dean?
You know, the entire, you know, just from the College of Veterinary Medicine, I want the entire family to know how sorrowful and sad we are over this loss. She impacted the entire community, not just veterinary medicine, but the entire Central Ohio area. And we will remember her with the greatest of thoughts and love, and also we'll miss her dearly, but she'll never be forgotten.